Wow. Talk about a change of scenery.
And you hear that? Hear it? Nothing.
We're back in the Old West, and look down below me.
Down here along El Dorado Canyon.
Can you see that down there? That, my friends, is a little ghost town
called Nelson, Nevada.
Except for the occasional insect or distant gunshot, actually. It is so dead silent up here right now.
So quiet that when a bird flew by, I literally heard its wings flap.
But 150 years ago, it was a completely different story out here.
This was once the busiest and most crowded mining area in Nevada.
They were digging gold and silver out of these hills from 1859 all the way up until World War II.
When the mines played out, the buildings and equipment were taken off for scrap.
And flash flooding took out most of the rest until all that's really left
is that small ghost town remnant down there at the end of this road.
The old mining headquarters, gas station, and a few other buildings.
Now owned by one family, lovingly restored and open to visitors.
Visitors like us.
So what are we standing around here for? Let's go.
Dude, come on. How awesome is this?
I am already stoked.
I love theme parks. I love touristy places. Over the years, I've even started to appreciate Las Vegas.
But showing up and finding some place that looks like this,
that is what I live for.
Now, if you come out here, you should know first and foremost,
before you do or look at anything else, you need to check in at the store, which is that building over there behind the Texaco sign. Remember, this place is all privately owned, so there is a small fee if you're gonna take photos or video.
Tough but fair. After all, they gotta keep the doors open.
All of these buildings are what's left over from the headquarters and main operations
of one of the biggest and most profitable mines,
the Techatecup mine, which was actually founded all the way back in 1861.
So that gives you a pretty good sense of what era we're talking about here.
Basically right at the start of the Civil War. So, as you'd expect,
not all, but many of the thousands of men who came here
did so to avoid or to desert from the Civil War.
This was one of those classic Western places full of way too many dudes,
where sudden and deadly violence could erupt at any time.
And it often did. Pretty much everything you read about early Nelson
is knife fight after gunfight after knife fight.
Now, all the way at the end of this road, at the end of El Dorado Canyon, is the Colorado River.
And this entire area, the whole Colorado River Valley,
was like Wild West to the max. Wild West on steroids.
A pretty darn lawless place. Remember, Nevada wasn't even a state yet.
And you had all kinds of people out here who had been fleeing from the law back east, or they were running away from the army.
People with no homes, no families, no responsibilities out here.
Often with nothing to lose, hence some of that violence.
And speaking of violence, as you can read about over here on one of the many historical plaques,
at least two very famous renegade Indians
lived right here in this very canyon. One's name was Avote, who killed at least 5 people that we know of.
And the other one, Quajo, considered to be the last renegade Indian,
killed at least 20 people, the last of which was right over here in this town, a woman by the name of Maud Douglas.
There are places in the Old West that you visit and they look so picturesque.
I mean, right out of a Western, but you find out that the tales of violence are overblown. There really weren't any shootouts. Not so with this place.
This area of Nevada really was the Wild West.
And even as the threat of a random violence started to dissipate,
right till the very end, this was a hardcore place where hardcore dudes lived a hardcore life in a hardcore time,
scratching out a living from the bowels of the earth itself.
Dude, check out this rusty old jail cell.
That is definitely one way to make sure that your prisoners stay in jail.
Well, unless they had a match, they could just light this. Well, that probably put them in danger. Never mind.
I know this probably isn't the original location of this jail cell, but imagine if it was.
The worst part about being in there would definitely be the humiliation,
since everybody else showing up to work in the mine would have to pass right by you.
Like walking to detention in front of the whole class.
Dude, there are just thousands upon thousands of artifacts out here. This is a lift they'd use to lower men down into mine shafts. Well, men and equipment. And if you look around, you'll see all kinds of pulleys, and
winches,
and all kinds of pieces left over from both steam and diesel-powered machinery, and to lower things into and pull things out of shafts.
well, not to mention pump water into different tanks, sort chemicals out.
Both gold and silver mining required a lot of different chemicals and a lot of water
to sort through the mashed up ore and get out the rich stuff.
A lot of people picture Old West mining as the old prospector with his pick and shovel.
But in the main, that's not the way it was. The miners may have lived rather roughly.
But once they struck gold or silver, things became high-tech and capitalized rapidly. Dude, look at this huge engine right here.
This thing was built by General Electric in 1900. That's a long time ago. Now, I guess before I look at anything else, I have got to mention that the movie 3,000 Miles from Graceland was filmed right here. We'll come look at all these other wacky vehicles in a little while, but supposedly this trailer right here was used in the movie along with Nelson's most famous photo op. Pieces of the prop plane that were blown up along with the gas station. Now, I've only ever seen bits and pieces of that movie, but I have seen that part.
And that must have been one exciting friggin' day out here, because that was a big explosion.
I'm guessing the whole town turned out to see it. After all, there are only 3 of them that live here.
Anyway, there it is. The plane from 3,000 miles to Graceland. Nelson's most famous monument. Helpfully backlit there by the rays of the Nevada sun.
Now, all of this stuff the plane is crashed into right now, all this white stuff here is actually tails or tailings from the mine.
The giant piles of smashed up, chemically processed ore
left here in massive piles because, I mean, what else were they going to do with it?
You can actually see a whole bunch of rails here from the old ore carts,
as well as a lot more machinery and one heck of a pipe. I mean, look at that thing. It's gargantuan. And behind all of this is the mine entrance,
primarily used for the donkeys that worked inside the mine.
Hey, small spaces, a lot of heavy ore carts to pull.
But the mine entrance is sort of off limits unless you're on a guided tour.
I believe the tour guide is actually down there right now on one of the 75-minute deep walking tours.
And we didn't call ahead, so we're going to have to save the Chichata Cup for another day, I guess. But dude, even just walking around here, look at all these hoses and windlasses and steel cables and ore carts and Russian tourists and airplanes. What is this, a laundry mangle?
There is a heck of a lot of stuff to look at out here.
Might as well get up close and personal with the plane. I mean, everybody who comes out here obsesses over it, so why not?
Pretty darn cool the way they set this up.
There's something pretty awesome and yet kind of chilling about seeing a plane like this completely out of its normal context. Interesting.
Wow, dude, would you look at the size of that shaft?
That thing could cut somebody's whole family in half.
Now, Tony, the owner of this place, has a really impressive collection of cars.
I mean, everything from trailers to old Ford trucks to buses to rare Volkswagens.
And he appears especially fond of strange double and triple decker buses.
But I just noticed now as I was looking at that bus back up there in the hills, you can see all kinds of giant metal pipes running all over the place.
Just another reminder that they had all kinds of hydraulic and pneumatic lines going around. Water was getting pumped up there.
I mean, this was way before most environmental laws. Look, you can see a pipe sticking up there out of the mine tailings.
There would have been all kinds of random buildings and equipment up here. Think of how much was probably scrapped for the wars.
I mean, all the mining equipment we're seeing out here is just the stuff that would have been left over. All right, we gotta get to these cars.
At first I thought all these buses were actually built that way until I noticed on the inside that the floor is flat all the way back.
And then started noticing some of the other customized vehicles around here.
Apparently we have some big Volkswagen fans around.
But with a particular obsession
for double and triple decker buses of all kinds.
Look at that. That one's set up as a trailer with a Beetle roof on a Volkswagen bus.
What do you call a Beetle bus trailer? A Beetle bustler, a bee-bustler, a bee-bustler.
Dude, it is so rad looking out here. Look at that old tank up there, the stonework, the rusty pipes and cables and old wood and old cars and double-decker bus that looks like it was owned by the Electric Mayhem. Look at the size of these things.
There's a higher ceiling in here than there is in my apartment.
But that is nothing
compared to these freaking things. Would you look at the size of these buses?
They're gargantuan, dude.
Well, okay, they're not exactly buses. These are big old international trucks with buses welded to the top.
Wow, and to think, this is exactly what Mad Max rode to school.
Yeah, it's just a little truck I picked up from my daughter so she can go to her tea parties and whatnot.
Y'all should see the big truck I made to take out with the boys to go hunting.
Dude, I particularly like the extra custom touches up here. And of course the signs on top that say out there. Oh yeah. They're out there, all right. Dude, how cool would it be to drop off your kid at school in one of these things? I mean, personally, I'd rather own something like one of these two, but you know, if you want to make a statement or impress your future mother-in-law, that's the way. Man, all these old cars and trucks and buses are impressive, but I can't help being more fascinated with what's behind them. These are absolutely massive Redwood thickening tanks. Pretty sure that's what they'd be used for. See, when we were up on the Redwood Highway and I talked about how almost all those ancient redwoods were logged, this is the reason. Look at these ancient redwood tanks. The iron is rusting away. But the redwood, even after having all those chemicals in it and all that sludge and stuff, is still in pretty much pristine shape. Wow, you can see back there all kinds of pipes and debris on the hill. I'd really like to get a closer look back there, but I don't think we're allowed. It can actually be kind of hard to tell where you are and aren't allowed to go out here because there's no trespassing signs and keep out signs on everything. But that's mainly to stop trespassers and thieves from coming here in the middle of the night or failing to check in and pay at the store. I'm guessing though that this giant bar here with all the signs on it means that we gotta keep out of this one too. Although they are kind of sending me mixed messages with that happy face. Dang, looks pretty awesome back there. You can still see some of the wood remnants up there on that hill. Awesome. Oh, so that's where I parked my ice cream truck. Dude, it is pretty awesome looking out here. There's been a lot of restoration out here, but there's still plenty of history out here. Plenty of buildings that would have actually housed equipment and, of course, the miners themselves. Dude, look at this. Now that right there is improvising. How'd you like to live in something like that? Well, lots of miners in the Old West did. Well, at least you'd get plenty of peace and quiet because there aren't too many neighbors. Now, I happen to know that these two buildings right here, this one and the one behind it, are the actual private homes of the very few people who live here. They look kind of crazy and twisted on the outside, but I'm told they're rather nice on the inside. Plus, you can't beat this setting. I mean, look at that. Oh, there's the other house right back there. I mean, this is pretty awesome. How cool is it to come out here and buy your own town? That is so awesome. Tony can be the mayor and the constable and the police chief and the fire chief. Oh, actually, maybe he is the fire chief. Just check out that old Boulder City fire truck alongside the building. Okay, dude, this is a cool place to live. I try not to compare myself with anyone else. You know, comparison is the thief of joy and all that. And I try not to covet or to be jealous as much as I can help it. But dude, I'm having a hard time because this seems like a pretty awesome place to live. And it's only about an hour from Las Vegas and really only 30 minutes from Boulder City. Oh, hey. Oh, wow. From back here across the road, you can see there's really a lot more wood stuff back behind those tanks than I thought there was. Dude, they would have had all kinds of lines of rail tracks for the ore cars and wooden hoppers. I want to go back over there. But I guess it's about time we explored some of the buildings over here on this side of the street behind the store. Oh, another funky little custom bus over here. And dude, look at this barbecue pit. It actually smells so good right now. I can smell the embers left from the last fire. Wow, there's all kinds of stuff back here, and you couldn't ask for a more dramatic backdrop. I'm shooting with a wide lens, so those mountains look kind of far away to you. But in person, they are very close up, right in your face. Oh, finally, some fresh candy. I love just the sheer amount of random leftover stuff out here. It's no wonder this place is very, very popular with photographers and photo shoots. This building looks like it could have been original. Look at that. Look at the old light fixture way up there. And there's another giveaway. Look at how rough that floor is right there. It doesn't exactly look like a set from a John Wayne movie. But then again, most actual Western towns didn't. I've been to plenty of places where there are actual old miners' cabins and the walls are made out of dirt or old pieces of barrels or shipping crates. I've been to a few where the walls were even lined with tin cans that they got their food out of, just to give them a little bit of extra insulation. Oh, hey, look at this. Reminds me of the old days when I worked the saloons in Dodge City. Those were good times, let me tell you. Oh, these ivories love to be tickled, and I love doing the tickling. Look, Ma, no hands. Whoa, look at this cactus here. Be very, very careful if you come out here. Not to even think about touching that. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. I didn't touch it. This is that type of cactus that will stick right to you. I mean, even if it hits your pants, it'll staple your pants to your leg.
That's a no-no.
Wow, dude, look at the size of this barn they built out here. Now, I'm not sure if this is original. I kind of doubt it. At the very least, it's got a new roof. But hey, when they have built stuff out here, they've used a lot of recycled materials from older buildings that have fallen down. And I'm told we're actually allowed to climb up these terrifying stairs, which I instantly regretted doing the second I felt them wobble, and see the view from the balcony. Man, that is gorgeous. And if you think that's good, wait till you see the view from the front. Amazing. That right there is one heck of a vista. The hole in the plywood floor makes me a little nervous. But then sometimes I just get nervous in general. Ooh, look at this old school building. Plenty of bullet holes right there. Look at the old boards for the walls. Paper trying to line the ceiling. That is pretty typically Western. You find something like that with paper insulation or something, that's typically authentic. Oh, look at this. They've set up a nice punch bowl for us. We can get a little drink if you're thirsty. And that's not all. You can even take a bath out here. Ooh, I could use a dip. Oh, no, just kidding. I wouldn't take a bath in that. The water's too cold. Now, here's something that's authentic as well. This was actually left over from the old Nelson ghost town. One of the miners just packed up and left all his stuff here, including his car. Yes, it was a memorable day when young Elvis Presley left to start his pop singing career. See, every place I go just makes me want to get a cool old school car. I'd get one of them fancy wagons, but they just don't last. Ooh, I don't know what this wagon was for, but you gotta be careful backing up. All right, there was the balcony we were just up on, but look at this. This is maybe my favorite spot. It's the old gas station, and that right there, my friends, is a view I am in love with. Old school cars, the old west, old road trip looking scene. Oh, it's like something you'd see on old Route 66. The romance of the American road, all summed up in a picture. Look at that Model T wheels and engines and gas pumps, vintage tires galore. Oh wow, the front of this building and the walls are really old. The roof is new. But then again, almost every roof you see on any old building has been replaced over time. Now see, here's what I meant about the trespassing signs being confusing, because you are allowed to enter this one. And they said, just make sure you replace the chain. And they asked that if you move any props around, you just take the time to move them back. Wow, this place is amazing. Look at all the old hubcaps everywhere. Awesome. I'd really like to come back here when I have some more time to just wander around and stare at each little thing. True, I guess I say that everywhere I go. But then again, most of the places I travel to are pretty epic. Dude, I'd pay a good chunk of money to camp out here for the weekend and just soak this in. Among my numerous dreams, I've always wanted to own a place like this and then build an old-timey hotel with little miners' cabins that you could stay in. Like, imagine being able to spend the night in this and then waking up to that. I think most people would really enjoy that. Not this guy, though. He went all to pieces over it. Dude, the old store is awesome. Not just the inside, which is full of amazing artifacts from all over the whole area, and lots of products and nifty gifties to buy. Ooh, some of the stuff in here really bugs me. Just watch out for the extraterrestrials. Oh, and the freezer full of rattlesnakes. But the outside is amazing too, full of more artifacts than you could shake a spoon at. And trust me, I've been trying. Plus, they have this epic old school coin-op camel ride. Oh yeah, there's nothing like a good old-fashioned camel ride. I'm so excited about this. Oh, dang. I forgot all my quarters.
Then get off my dadgum back.
Sheesh, touchy camel. Well, it is hump day.
Whoa, I didn't see that before. I do not know what that used to be. Some sort of stick animal hybrid. But it isn't anymore. Wow, there's all kinds of animal artifacts out here.
Hopefully I don't become one of them. Just gotta avoid all those rattlesnakes. Oh, I gotta get me one of those. Dude, look at the size of those bellows. So, what's it like living out here? Pretty quiet, huh? Peaceful? Do you like Justin Bieber? You remind me of him, Justin Bieber. Why? Well, I don't know. You just do. No, it's not your singing voice. More your fashion sense. Gosh, this place is endless. Every time I think I've seen it all, they come up with more all to see.
Oh, look at that ore bucket right there. That thing is ginormous. You could keep your kids in it.
Wow, this is unbelievable. Look at this little house over here. Pretty clever how they included a basement to keep their food stored in there. Oh no, we better get out of here. think that guy's sleeping. Man, he looked dead tired. Wow, apparently some of the mining went on beneath our very feet. This is one heck of a place, let me tell you. Definitely worth doing the guided tour and hearing all the history. I'm bummed I didn't get to do it this time, but it does give me an excuse to come back. Oh, look at that sign up there. They are very serious about checking in at that store. Look at this. We would go in here, but others of my kind have ruined it for everyone. I'm joking, obviously. That's one of the things I'll never understand. I go all kinds of crazy places, and I have a good time doing it. I have never once felt the urge to vandalize or steal something. Or if I injure myself, blame it on the place where I go. That's weird. What the heck? Wait a minute, let's see here. Hello? Julio? How did you reach me here? What? Well, it's not my fault that I left you on the side of the road. You're the one who got out of the... But I told you, we were arguing... Listen, we'll talk about it later. I'm busy right now, I'm busy. How in the world? Sorry about that, folks. We're almost to the edge of town now, but I still don't feel like we've seen it all. Ooh, look at that sign up there. You gotta watch out. Trust me, you definitely don't want to mess around out in the desert like this. No thieving, no trespassing, no hanky-panky. What an unbelievably cool place. Man, they're obsessed with triple-decker buses, triple-decker buildings, and just like the miners, I can dig it. Well, I think that's just about it. We've reached the end of town. There's just one more building behind us. I'm not sure if we're allowed to go in or not, but I think I'll risk it. After all, we've been fine everywhere else we've gone so far. Let's see here. Whoa! Definitely not allowed! And stay out! Oh yeah? I will! Alright, that's about it. I think we've done all we can. Well, at least in the old ghost town around the Tchatacup mine. But there's a little bit more to see out here. The modern town of Nelson is way up the canyon. Just a few buildings built way up closer to the railroad where they used to take all the ore and the rich stuff out to be processed and whatnot. But before the railroads, which didn't actually make it out here for quite a long time, all the stuff mined out of this place had to be shipped down the canyon to the Colorado River where it could be shipped out by steamboat. There's actually more mines down that way, and I'm told that's where the majority of all the miners live. You know, closer to water. So I think before we leave entirely, we'll say goodbye to the Nelson ghost town and maybe head on down the canyon to see what we can see. This place was definitely worth visiting. I honestly can't wait to come back again. Oh. Hey there, Julio. So you found us, huh? Ooh, he still looks a little mad. Well, listen, yeah. All right, Julio, I hear you. Hey. Oh, come on, Julio. I know you're mad, but you didn't have to do that. I could have stepped in that. You know, you really need to clean up your act, Julio. Matter of fact, you need to clean up all around. You're looking a little dirty and scruffy these days. Fine, I'll take you to the car wash when we get back. Now, can we go? We're running out of time here, Julio. I think you're really gonna like this next spot. It's kind of a ways down the road, but actually, before you even get to the river, if you're feeling brave, you can pull over and check out the Jubilee Mine. Now this one you don't have to pay for, and I hear it's quite extensive, not just going down, but that you can actually climb through there and up and around. I mean, look how cool all of this is. Wow, this is massive. You can see just how much ore they pulled out of here. I don't know how many, that's probably 70 feet, 60, 70 feet from the top of this to the bottom. There's probably 30, 40 feet to climb. Now we could do it. Let's go deeper down. What do you mean nobody knows where we are? We'll be fine. Fine, be a chicken. Yes, sir, there were mines all over this canyon. Actually, according to legend, Julio, the Spaniards were down here in the 1700s mining. Supposedly, that's how the canyon got the name El Dorado. But then again, they say that pretty much about everywhere back in the day. See, the miners out here wanted to make each strike as legendary as possible to get investment from back east. What's that? Oh, you don't care? Okay, fine. Julio never cares about history. He just cares about the slot machines. Anyway, like I said, all the way at the very end of the road past Nelson, I don't know, probably 10 or 20 minutes past the ghost town, you reach the mighty Colorado River. Wow, look at that. This is otherworldly. Technically, this part of it is called Lake Mojave, but still, that is incredible. We're way up here, high on an overlook. Look how tiny those people are over there on that hill. You'll get some sense of the scale out here. Before the Colorado was dammed, there used to be steamboats that came up and down this way. In fact, they would travel all the way down to the Gulf of California. And so it only made sense that the mines would ship all their ore out of here, out of a little town at the bottom called Nelson's Landing. Now, like I said, the steam trains later made Nelson's Landing obsolete, so the town of Nelson was moved away from here. But even up until as recently as the 1970s, there was a little marina down here on the edge of Lake Mojave. Snack bar, maybe a motel, a bunch of stuff. But it was all washed away by a massive flash flood that, as a matter of fact, claimed several lives. So people actually died who were down here at the base of the canyon when that 40-foot wall of water and mud and debris came tumbling down from up above. Flash floods and rain in the desert are no joke. Nothing to mess around with. Wow, look at this view. It's incredible. And nothing but the sound of the wind. Beautiful. I'm not even kidding. This is the kind of stuff that just recharges my soul when I'm dealing with anxiety, depression even. Man, after my neck, you know, the whole 3 discs out in the neck and the whole injury, which I'm still trying to recover from. After stuff like that, you know, I can't help it, you know, to get depressed and have anxiety. And I've been struggling with that my whole life anyway. Sometimes, though, just getting a little bit of a change of scenery, and especially coming out somewhere like this all alone with nothing but the sound of your breath, the wind, the crunch of the rocks under your feet, the flapping of the bird wings like earlier. I don't know, for me, I feel like the desert sort of restores my soul. And it's nice to get a little boost because tax time is coming up. A lot of stuff to do before we really kick off the year. Doctor visits, dentist visits, neck injections, oh my gosh. But although I can't change the circumstances, I'm gonna try to react with patience because I cannot wait for this year's crazy adventures, which are just getting started. All right, guys, well, that just about does it. I think we've seen all we can see now. Julio's waiting in the car. We're out of memory cards and batteries. We've done our duty. Now we can go home and sleep well. For. Let's go. Wait a minute. We can't go. The car's right over here. What, do I want to leave the car out here? Come on. That'd be a long walk back. After all, we've been fine everywhere else. Oh, shoot. I messed that up. Ooh, okay. It's a good thing those things are frozen. Those are actually real and all killed out here before they killed someone else. Dude, that is nuts. There's a snake in my fridge. Better than your boot. Whew, as always, thank you guys for watching. Remember, these videos are all fan-funded, so of course we do have a Patreon, lots of social media links, and some merch. The merch is going to have a big switch up in March, so if you like the merch on our Spreadshirt now, make sure to go check it out now before it's all gone eventually. Thank you especially very much for sharing these videos with people you think would like them. Browse the old ones. We got a lot of adventures out there. And I'll see you all a little further along down the road. Wow, that is one of the most beautiful silences I have ever heard. Stay on the quest for positivity, my friends. Somehow, I got a good feeling about this year. It's gonna be a good one.